Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to cover something I haven't really seen anybody really touch on a whole lot, and that is engine bays. So engine bays depends on what you want to do with it. Hard body trucks, the expectation is that if the hood opens that there's a scale engine underneath of it. And while true, it's not necessarily true for everybody. Depends on what you want and depends on how the truck's going to be driven and what you want to get out of it. The more detail you put in the engine bay, typically the harder maintenance is, because you can't get to anything, or you've glued things to other things that now you can't take the body off. So those are all things that you have to take into consideration. Here's two very different approaches to an engine bay. Albeit the same front end of a truck, two completely different versions of what my expectation is. So we go from the dirty and used to the clean and new. So it just takes a little bit of time. But you got to think it through, and there's a couple little tricks I can take you or get you headed in a direction. Might not be the right direction, but it'll be a direction on doing some engine bay stuff. So we'll start with what would be the classic stock truck. So as you can see, brushless motor, speed control, and that's about it. So it's pretty service friendly. I can actually take the whole hood off here to give you a better look. So pretty simple, pretty sanitary, very usable. I would keep the hood down on this just because it's not very detailed. And then we come over here to my 109, which is a very well, not very. It's detailed enough to kind of pass the test when you pop the hood. So 3D printed scale engine with an air cleaner, 3D printed radiator. Kind of helps when you look through the grill, you don't see anything. Cover for the ESC, and yes, that ESC is in the same spot as that ESC. So everything's in the same location, it's just covered up. So that's kind of the gist of it for these trucks. The plug wires, basically just drill a hole where the plug wire realistically would go, the same size as the wire you're going to use. This particular yellow wire is out of some bulk servo connector servo wire. I don't know how to say that, but it's from High Tech. It's just bulk. I got like a 20-foot length off of Amazon, and it's yellow, red, and black, and I just peel off the yellow, and it makes for very nice flexible silicone spark plug wires. And that's about it. The rest of it is just paint, because if you look at that engine versus what it looked like when it was 3D printed, it's a big difference. But yeah, just a little bit of scale painting, and it'll look like that. So it's very relaxing for me to sit there and paint these. And that's airbrush work, about 30 minutes of airbrush work, and some oil paints, and yeah. So kind of sells it. And on this one, ain't nothing wrong, ain't no shame in the game. Keep the hood down. And that's what we got. So let me show you a couple other examples of engine bays, engine covers versus 3D engines. Yep. So I definitely love my boom racing trucks, but I got quite a few here. I don't know what's happening, but they're taking over. So again, engine covers versus full engine motor covers. So I know it sounds like the same words, but it's not. This is a motor cover. So this one bolts in from the bottom. Actually comes up through these 4 screws, and it fills all the gaps. So it's an engine bay cover. This is a motor cover, so it actually slides over top of the can motor, which takes a lot more. It's just a lot more because it's got to actually fit over the motor. And yes, this is a brushless Castle motor, same as this one. So depending on what motor cover you choose, yes, I know this is a Toyota 22RE and a Land Rover, but you know, just having some fun with things. This engine bay is a little more detailed even than the previous one. I do have master cylinder, which is on the correct side for the driver. Master cylinder, brake booster, some coolant lines, some wiring, overflow bottle for the radiator, battery, plug wires. You know, so this one's a little more complete. Again, sterile, clean truck. This one's going to get dirty, as you can tell by the engine bay. So, motor cover, and let me show you the difference here. So this is a motor cover, so it slides over top of your motor. So this one is a Ford Cobra motor by Scale Rat. So this file I downloaded, paid for and downloaded off of his site. So this is a motor cover, goes over. This is a engine, well, it's a motor cover, so to speak, but it only would go on the top of a can motor. So it would sit down on top, but it's not a complete cover for the whole engine bay. So there's some examples, and again, 3D printed on my Bamboo X1 carbon, throwing it out there. But yeah, these are some examples. And yes, this is just some brush and airbrush work and a little bit of brush work, and it takes that to that. You know, it's a little bit of patience, but it's doable, and it kind of takes your builds to the next level. I can show you a couple other examples of what these look like when they're done. So let me go grab another truck. So here's another example. So this is Funbringer, if you haven't been introduced properly. Funbringer, fans, Funbringer. So this is a different version of a engine cover. So this is the RC four-wheel drive V8, which is not technically an engine cover, I guess, because it mounts the electric motor inside of the V8, and then it goes back through a scale transmission back here. So it's a little bit different, but still, you know, is it this? Not so much. This is not 3D printed. This is not plastic. This is metal. So this is, but it's still another variation of the same. This is my dipstick. So yeah, so plug wires, this is that. This is a little bit different wire that I used on here, but this battery cable is silicone. That's that servo lead wire. These wires are actually, let's see if I can grab it here. It's metal hobby wire. You get like 6 or 8 of them in a pack, different colors, and black, of course. But there's a bunch of different colors, and basically you can take this stuff, and it's stiff wire, so you can actually bend it, and it'll stay. So yeah, it's definitely wire. You can bend it, and it'll it'll stay in shape. So this is great for ignition wires and things of that nature. But once you get everything into shape, a little bit of heat shrink tubing for some cap wires like this, and paint it, and then install it. So different ways to do it. Some of the other things on this are, this does have a engine oil dipstick down here. If you can see it, I can actually spin it around. It comes out. Trans dipstick's missing though. I don't know where that's at. But irregardless, that's again, details: MSD ignition, brake booster, battery tray, fuse box, some engine labels for the engine compartment, and VIN number up here, maybe a couple stickers, safety stickers underneath the hood. But those are things that you can add. These little clear bottles for washer fluid and things of that nature. Pretty cool. You can pick them up. Most 3D printers make them, and you can order them up. But they all complete the package. This rubber hose is from the RC four-wheel drive radiator kit, which the radiator is actually in here. If you can kind of see it down in here, it's the RC four-wheel drive logo and radiator with a radiator cap. Made an alternator, belt as an O-ring. Those are all things that you can kind of go to and kind of make it your own. But yeah, let me see if I have another engine like this and in another model, and we'll finish it up there. All right, so of course I got another one. So RC Everyday Rat Rod. So it has, this motor is the Cat, I think it's a C7 or something like that. It's a Cat motor out of a Traspeed kit. You can get these on eBay for $50-$70, something like that. But this is a die cast motor, and that is where the 540 mount is in here. So this would be fully viewed otherwise. So you would have to make, which I have to make, a oil pan for this one to be able to hide that. So that's up on my plate, is to make an oil pan. I already made a belly plate. Got to make an oil pan for the motor, and that'll kind of finish that one off. And you can see, you got the turbo and everything on this side, which will have to be finished off. So there's a lot of choices out there. It doesn't have to be die cast. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can be 3D printed. This would look just as good in there as this, but it's a style thing and a taste thing. And in my opinion, as long as you attempted to cover up the electric motor, you're winning. But if you don't, it ain't no big deal. Not everybody does it, and it's a different aspect of the hobby, is that scale realism piece that everybody cries about, but not everybody takes the time to do it. When you do it and you do it right, that's when you get noted, or trophies, or whatever it is, or just the satisfaction of you knowing it's on your shelf and you did it, you put the work in, and you earned it, and it looks great. And that's all that really matters. The hobby is about enjoying it for yourself, not impressing others. And if you're trying to impress others and trying to be on the top of the heap, you're just going to be standing in a pile of poop all by yourself. So celebrate the wins for yourself and others, and go RC. Thanks.